IVM.
Hi guys. Welcome to GAYBCD with Sunetro and Farhad, where we talk about the GAYBCD of everything. That's GAYBCD. If you're not hear me right. And what? Hi, Sunetro. How are you doing?
You can say Sunetro or Sunetro, both count.
Give me another one. Give me something that's I want a pet name, and I don't want a pet name. You know what I mean?
Naughty boy.
I thought you'd say Sunnu.
Ew. That's so LS.
Okay.
Like, so LS.
I can't believe you said LS. Oh my god. Okay.
Sunnu. Okay.
Do you have a pet name out there?
I shall not let the world know that, because you know what Bengali parents do?
I know.
They make sure you are embarrassed for life.
Boba.
Yeah, like I'm not, like I have an aunt called Booby Mashi, so like there you go. So I'm not saying that, but then a lot of my friends call me Netro, so why don't we call me Netro? Yeah.
Hi Netro.
Hey Farhad.
Let me just play Netro. Yeah.
All right, let's get started.
What do you want to talk about today?
How long have you been like queer? Like actually, put a number to it. Like actual numbers to it.
Okay, if I straight up have to say, based on, I'm one of those people who thought about that I might be queer way after I already had my queer experience.
Yeah.
So 8, very specific 8. That was my first time.
First time, okay.
Yeah.
Why don't we talk about that? Our first times, first
of many.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Let's do that.
So
what? What was your first experience like? First, should we start just out of the gate? First sexual experience?
Yeah, why not? Let's start hard, dude.
Do it. I don't know if I was getting hard at 8.
All right. So are we talking where we knew what this was, or are we talking just like life?
Anything of a sexual nature.
Okay. Mine was when I was 14.
Okay. What is it about 14? So many times, because I asked other
it
people
comes
this
up,
question,
right?
And it somehow tends to be
It's
14.
a boy thing. It's a
14.
very It's a very, very rampant boy thing. It's, I think, that age where just like you're.
The first time I fucked a girl was when I was 14, but boy happened at 8. But no fucking.
A love story for the ages.
We'll get to this, but I wanna hear your experience.
All right. So yes, I was 14, and mind you, this is Ranchi, which is like a small town. And I was a student in a Roman Catholic missionary school, all boys school. So that it's like they were setting me up for this, you know. So like surrounded by boys. But then I had a lot of friends who stayed nearby, and a lot of family friends. And there was one particular friend that we'd have sleepovers, and the sleepovers were just really sleepovers. So there was one particular time when both my parents were out of town, so I went over to there was a sleepover over at his place.
Okay.
And
this is at 14.
This is at 14.
Okay.
So we were just up chatting as if, you know, like we had like life shit to discuss, as if. So we were chatting, we were like getting deep and like getting to know each other. And there was a sense of closeness that built up, and intimacy that built up, and we just like hugged, and the hug led to stirrings, and it just like, you know, spiraled, and it went on, and it just went into a state where
PG-13,
and it was very PG-13
when you
in
say
the sense.
Spiraled, I see two guys just like swirling really fast. Like
no, but genuinely, it wasn't raw animalistic. It was because all of that happened way later for me.
I got it.
This wasn't. I never knew it was a gay experience. It was this like almost all-encompassing. Like it lifted me up. That sort of transcendental.
I don't mean to like hyper-sexualize your first experience. I get it. The first time it made sense. Basically.
Yeah.
That this is what you want.
And I didn't even know what, like, when we both climaxed. I didn't even know I had climaxed.
Okay.
Like I was I was wondering what this feeling was. I was confused.
Okay.
Like both of us were confused. Okay. What just happened?
God, you're saying all of this and now suddenly I want to talk about the first time I jerked off, the first time I had sex, the first time I had this. I want to talk about all my firsts.
Yeah, so that was my first, and incidentally I ended up in a relationship with him for like a year, and that's essentially my first relationship. That's why I said all the animal, raw
I feel,
stuff.
Again, I hate to bring out the cynicism, but like I feel like I hear these kind of stories, and this is so Disney for me. You know, like at 14, your first sexual experience with a boy also turned into a 1-year-long relationship. I just feel like that sort of shit does happen. It does.
But
I live in a world where I think this never happens. But then I hear stories like this. I'm like, you know what, Farhad, shit like this does happen, and that's great. That's so nice.
Yeah, when you're living as in a world as obtuse as Ranchi, then maybe reality doesn't strike you, and you like keeping the fantasy alive. Yeah. But yeah, that was my first gay sexual experience. Okay. And what was yours?
Okay, so the first time I remember me being with a boy, there was obviously it followed. I'll talk about what happened after. A lot of cousins and all happened later on. But when I was 8, I remember there was this one particular day where I had kind of like called in sick. Like basically my mom it was one of those rare occasions where my mom is like, you know what, it's okay if you don't go to school today. I don't know why. She gave me that little leeway. And one of my other friends, he did not go to school because he was recovering from a fracture, but he could run around and shit, but he was still not going to school. So it was just us. And it was a very like no one's there. We are the kings of summer basically. We are running around. Nobody's there in this whole colony. And then it was like this. You show me yours now, I'll show you mine. And then it was like...
I've never had that. Yeah? I've never ever faced that.
It was like, you show me yours, I'll show you mine. You touch, can I touch yours? I'll touch mine. All of that shit. Then, can I kiss yours?
This is all very like locker room-ish stuff, which I have never ever faced in my life. And I know so many men go through it.
Little this, he's getting married next month. And I'm going for his wedding, and it's great. Like, we've been friends throughout our lives, and I'll tell you something that happened. We were so young that this happened during the day, and in the evening, all our friends are back from school, and we all are playing cricket, and we were like, hey, you know what we did today? I want to take his name. You know what we did today? And we told all our friends that we kissed each other's dicks.
Oh, jeez.
And what followed was years of like sudden, honestly, they tried bullying us. Obviously, my friend got very affected by it because teri mummy ko bol denge, we'll tell your mom and shit. I was like, okay, tell my mom what how are you going to say it? I want to know. So I was totally fine with this, but like, a lot of, my friend did not take it the right way. I think that's why he's getting married
clearly
next month. Otherwise, I would have totally cracked that egg open, I feel.
That's what we're calling
So that was kind of my first experience. Yeah.
But what about like, what I like to ask you is, what was your first date with a guy like?
Oh my God. I for some odd reason, I remember we went for Sizzlers.
So you've been with girls, obviously.
Yeah. I went on a lot of dates with girls before, and I was trying to figure out, again, I'll just run through this quickly, but I was one of those people who assumed I was gay all my life until I met a girl who I fell for, and then my confusion started. That's when I got confused in life. Like, I'm like, hey, okay, what is this? Most of my gay friends, their trajectory is, what is this I'm feeling? Why am I not attracted to girls and all? But for me, it happened the other way around, so it was a little confusing then. So I did go on a lot of like, again, like Archie comic book type dates, you know what I mean? Like, let's get pizza, let's get those sort of shit. But with a guy, I don't know how... Obviously, I'm assuming the internet had happened by then because I don't remember it ever being like hey, let's go on a date as dudes, Yeah, but we are going to get Sizzlers, and I think he saw me eat, and then we never went on.
I think, that's like a great, like almost a filter. I always tell people that if whoever I'm dating, if they've seen me eat a mango,
oh my God,
and they like me, then they really are long-term guys.
Okay. No, in my case, you've seen me eat, and if you still want to be with me, you're like, and this is You've been in Pune, yeah?
Yeah,
you know Zamu's.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and Zamu's had that stupid fucking Fred Flintstone type fucking sizzler, which was just a
like
mountain
massive,
of
like
meat.
It's like a dinosaur
It was
steak.
just sausages and fucking ham and eggs and bacon and you name
all of that is totally unintentional. We are just talking food.
Yeah, but it was called the meat grill, I remember. And I'm on my first date. I'm not thinking about bottoming, obviously. So I don't have to worry what's up my fucking colon. So I really ate everything in front of him and he never called me. But I do remember this was in landline times. So I guess like this was pre-cell phones, I feel like. But I don't remember how I met him or through what. Like, was it Planet Romeo? I remember the first thing.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm 35.
Romeo. Yeah.
So I remember there used to be gay.com. That was the first. If you're talking about first, that was the first website I remember.
I don't know. Like my first interaction was Planet Romeo. First.
Okay,
ever.
so let's start with how old I am. I was from gay.com times. Which is the portal was just called gay.com.
As direct as it can get.
Yeah. And then you had your the same as Planet Romeo. You could like find men based on your locality, vicinity. And yeah, I think I met him through that. I remember I also went on my cycle for this date. Oh my God. And then I was so stuffed after that fucking sizzler. I couldn't cycle back home, so I took a rickshaw home. Yeah.
So did you approach it differently in your head, like in retrospect?
Not really. It was cute though. I remember it being like, oh, this is something. This is something. All my ideas and notions of everything gay, I think happened after my first gay relationship, but first dates and first this, I don't think they had any sort of like filter or shade to them because I was gay. I just felt like, oh, I like this person. Let's get something to eat. I saw dates like, oh, let's watch a movie or whatever. It simply was that. Nothing more.
Interesting.
So yeah, what was your first date like?
Strangely, I mean,
was it Planet Romeo?
No, actually, it was far. So I was with a woman till I was 23.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So while I was with the said person, we'd opened our relationship up, and in the midst of that, so this is circa 2007. I mean, the year doesn't matter. I was 21-ish, I think, 21, 22-ish, and. Yeah, I went on a date with the person I was like enamored by. He was like 15 years older than me, and it was actually very different for me because it wasn't a date of equals.
Okay.
Because all my life I had been on dates where both of us, the two people, were equals.
Yeah.
We were there for each other. We were all about like, you know, the Dutch game and all of that.
Okay.
But here, there was this man who had swooped me, like swept me off my feet, and I really looked up to this person, and it was it was almost a mentorship of sorts, and it was very different because the dynamics were very different.
Okay.
It was me being taken care of.
Okay.
And I had never sensed that before. I had never experienced that before.
I get it. The daddy vibe without calling it daddy.
Daddy.
Now it's like we label it daddy.
Daddy,
but
like
I get it.
Yeah, I was obstinate about calling it. Not calling it like, you know, daddy, but it was very much that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was my first gay date, and it was very different for me. It was like my wiring had to change to kind of fit where I stand, because I still wanted it to be a relationship of equals.
Okay.
But with a person 15 years older than you, nahi hota hai. Like it's a little difficult.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was my first date with a guy.
Nice.
It came quite late. Yeah.
Okay.
Like 21, 22. Yeah.
Okay, so come on. Now since let's go down this road of firsts.
Okay then.
What first gay movie?
First gay movie. Oh my God, yes. Okay, so this is I'll tell you why, because it
should we apologize beforehand if this sounds too slam booky, like
first gay movie, it's TV not show. A bad thing.
No, it's not. I would love
Let's
to
thank Karan Johar for this, because like clearly he started this.
Where does he come up from?
I mean, he
even on the other
popularized
podcast, we just somehow Karan Johar comes and no.
Fine. All right then. Okay, so my first gay movie, which I like, embraced. This is when I was in college. I had access to this beautiful library called the British Council Movie Library.
Okay.
And so I had read a lot of books, and I'd read about this film called My Beautiful Laundrette.
Okay.
And what was interesting was it was about a South Asian man, an Indian man in London, falling in love with a Nazi. No, sorry, not Nazi. Sorry.
Oh my God. Was it the boy without striped pajamas?
No. A white supremacist from a white supremacist gang.
Okay.
Like a skinhead gang, but like not really.
Okay.
And
that sounds like a movie I'd love to watch.
It is a beautiful film.
Yeah,
it's a beautiful film.
Okay.
And I remember falling in love for the first time with a public figure, which is Daniel Day-Lewis. And he played it so beautifully. And that was my first gay film where and what was great was I felt represented.
Okay.
I felt like this isn't an other's story. It was a my story. It was a me story.
Okay.
And that's what I liked about it. Yeah, that was my first gay film. And I think I started well, and that's why my taste kind of stayed there. I didn't really venture down the there were a lot of B movies in the whole gay lexicon. So I didn't go down that path.
Okay.
So yeah. What was yours?
I don't know if now in retrospect I was like, why was it my first gay movie?
But what was it?
Philadelphia. Oh my god. The most depressing,
sexless,
as in
sanitized.
It wasn't like but. Yeah,
but important.
Important, but you don't want it to be your first game movie. I mean, you don't want to watch Tom Hanks dying of AIDS and like, oh my god, with the lesions and skinny. I'm like, that was my first this. Also, I just feel all my first time I saw it in a movie, and I'm going to say movies, but it was always like, why were these? I remember a cute one, which is that Paul Rudd movie. You know what I'm talking about?
Object of My Affection? Yes.
Yeah, okay. That was the first. That I'd like to say my first happy game movie. Otherwise, it was just Basketball Diaries. And dark shit.
Yeah.
But Object of My Affection would be
That's cute.
Yeah, it was such a cute fucking movie. They all sing that song in the end. All those kids. Yeah, I love that movie.
Jennifer Aniston.
So that was my first gay movie. Yeah.
So,
in a way.
And what about music, gay music? What was the first time you were exposed to and maybe had an obsession about any gay artist?
The thing is, I obviously Boy George, George Michael and all. I'm not into them.
Yeah.
Even Madonna and all. I heard all of them, but not from a gay point of view. I just like their music. But the first time I really felt it, I think it was Freddie Mercury, Queen.
Yeah.
And I remember my brother had this. He used to love Queen, but he saw how much I was enjoying Queen, and he said, "I'm going to say it in Parsi first, so whoever gets it." He said, he saw how much I was enjoying Queen, right? And he was like, "Tane malum chai gay chai." And I was like, "No, I did not know that Freddie Mercury is gay." And then somehow I got the music videos, and I Want to Break Free, and I got it. Oh my god, this man has fucking armpit hair and a mustache, and he's dressed like a woman, and he's vacuum cleaning. It just threw me in some fucking weird direction. Oh my god, this is too much to take in for a child. But I remember that being an iconic moment in my music gay journey in some way.
So we've been doing this for a while, and this is the first time we've agreed on something. And for me, it was the same.
Queen?
Freddie Mercury particularly.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with him. I have
so much so I love Bohemian Rhapsody.
I have a tattoo.
I
have a tattoo. Okay, so it brings two of my biggest passions together. One is Tolkien and one is Freddie Mercury. So it's got
I'm finding out so many things.
Oh my god, yes. So it's got so it says Bohemian Rhapsody in Tengwar, which is so it's on my nape.
That is
so the first time I saw, and obviously I was exposed to a lot of these rock, a lot of rock music. And there was something about Queen that just stood out as something I liked.
Yeah.
It didn't seem like I was not invited to the party.
Yeah.
And I couldn't understand why.
Yeah.
I hadn't read about them.
Yeah.
I was way too young to know about that literature, that side.
Yeah.
And then when I started reading about it, it all fell in place. I
get it. And now
since
you're talking about it in terms of analyzing, if you think about it, I'm not just saying that because of watching Bohemian Rhapsody, but his music and his lyrics and his songs
was his outlet.
No. They perfectly, everything is the gay life is captured in all his songs. If you think about the end, Who Wants to Live Forever? I Want to Break Free. Radio Gaga was like...
It's like things he didn't want to talk to the public about.
It's all in songs.
It's pretty much in his music.
And I feel like somewhere subconsciously we totally like fucking vibed with that. Just him putting out that sort of music.
Totally.
His sexuality into music in that way. Yeah, amazing.
What did you think of Bohemian Rhapsody though?
I loved it, except the except the last 20 minutes. I was like...
Did you not find it too sanitized?
No. I really loved it. I really loved it. I don't know why. You know, honestly, I want to watch it another time. Sometimes, you know, you like a movie in the first, but the second time you go like, why the fuck did I like this? Sometimes the first time you don't like a movie, the second time you're like, okay, this is the best movie I've seen. Why did I not like it? I feel like Bohemian Rhapsody, I might not like the second time, so I've not watched it.
Like I loved Rocketman for the reason. So it's basically Bohemian Rhapsody. Okay. It goes through the same travails and trails. But it's a lot more real, and that's what I would like. You know, I would like to see a gay man live the gay life and have gay sex. You know, so why not? Like,
I got it. I know this was a huge part of the flack the movie received, but. It's not like when you say sanitized, it
wasn't
means like it wasn't there.
There wasn't like erasure.
It was there.
Yeah.
I felt like it was there. I felt it was all there. And again, the movie was about his music, his musical journey, and I felt like that was great. Like just to know the individual history of every song, if you're talking about his lyrics. And, okay, too much Queen. But
but like speaking of. Taking from Freddie Mercury, because he expressed himself so beautifully with his garb and his you know. Have you ever done that? Have you
Never.
Has there been a conscious like the gay dressing up of Farhad?
Never. I really feel like it's something. You know, I have a dream. I have a dream. No, I did I've never cross-dressed. I've never tried on anything, but like. I have this thing where I want to try stand-up. Basically, Eddie Izzard. I want to do something like that, where I have an alternate personality, where I'm a woman and I perform stand-up. It's something I've thought of since forever. I've never got around to doing it, but it's something I think about at least once a day. I feel like I would kill it as a woman stand-up comic. And I have apps that make me that show me what I'd look like as a woman, and I'm a pretty hot woman. I have to say that. So yeah, no, never, because I had a boy I used to hook up with when I was very young. Again, when I was a teenager, he was the first person who would constantly love to, like, once his folks are out, he would like dress up like he would wear his mom's bra or like whatever, and I did not find it weird. But it's just something I did not ever experiment with, and like, I never went there. What about you? Like, what style? Like, first?
So I actually went through like this entire metamorphosis.
When
I started coming into my own, and this was around, you know, my third year of college, when I started asserting and being very, very comfortable with myself. Suddenly, so I had like a wardrobe where on an experimental day, I'd wear like an olive, like, you know, that was me. Okay. And then suddenly there were these strains of color that entered. Okay. And then little things I would do, I started wearing kohl. Every now and then when I was going out, like little smudged kohl, because I remember having seen
like as makeup. I'm sorry, I'm totally a dunce when it comes to
like kajal, like smudged kajal.
I thought it's like color olive. You're wearing kohl, and I was like, that's black.
That's adorable.
Was it carbon?
Cerulean.
Okay.
No, but so so I remember having seen David Beckham and how David Beckham expressed his fairness so confidently. Okay. I was like, hey, I can do that too. Okay. So I started. There were a lot of reds and pinks in my wardrobe. Very like subliminal, subconscious decisions. And then I started shopping for accessories, and that became like a thing for me. I started.
I really think I need to like tell people who don't know you, and we do know Sunetro.
Netro.
accessorizes. Am I pronouncing that right? Yeah, so well.
Oh my God.
Like right now, as I look at him, he's wearing tinted glasses that make it look like he's got the most beautiful shade of eye color on. He's wearing safety pins, but like I've seen other gay guys try to do safety pins. It just looks like Buddy Ado sterilized, but you are actually wearing very cute. Like, yeah, every time I see you, it's like, it takes a good 5 minutes to notice everything you've got going. And that's such a great thing about you. My friends call me Steve Jobs' wardrobe, you know? I'm Steve Jobs' wardrobe. You open it, you'll see like 20 black t-shirts, 3 pairs of jeans. That's it. That's me. Because I'm one of those classic, I don't want to think about what to wear ever. It just gives me so much immense anxiety deciding what to wear. So accessorizing, though, matlab, I would go fucking batshit crazy. If every day I had to think, today what safety pin do I choose? But yeah, I love that. I love that you take the time to do that and that you put in the effort. Yeah,
I enjoyed it. So what ended up happening was
you're a peacock every day.
Every single day. Yes.
That's lovely.
And these things became a part of me, a part of expressing myself. And it became so it's like you don't have a piercing, right?
Anyone used to.
Anyone who has a piercing not on the ear but like a piercing on their lip or like an eyebrow, it bothers, but then it comes to a point where if you remove the piercing you feel naked.
I get it.
And that's what happened to me. So I started doing these things. Initially it felt like,
Did you have
a bit much?
Your eyebrow piercing before?
Yes, I did.
Because I do remember, again, for people who don't know, I knew Sunetro years ago. We only recently started doing this together. After years we did not meet or not. But when I did meet you, I remember you were like, for some odd reason, I remember all the piercings back then. Yeah. And again, you did it well. Not like, hey buddy, are you okay?
Oh my God, compliments after compliments. How do I take it? All right. So yeah, that became like almost a way of, putting myself out there. So it became an extension of my sexuality, personality, whatever you call it. And yeah, it continues and I really enjoy it.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's just part of my personality now. Yeah. So
and it's so much more than style. Yeah. Okay.
True.
Yeah.
So on that note, let's take a small teensy break. Yeah.
He needs to readjust his accessories.
Yeah. All right. We'll be back.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to another great week on the IVM Podcast Network. If you're not following us on social media, I really don't know what to tell you at this point in time. I mean, I'm so disappointed in you. Please go follow us. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. So this week on Cyrus Says, Cyrus is joined by Ramya Ramamurthy and Varun Deshpande of the Good Food Institute. They explain what plant-based meat is, what will be the next food revolution, and the objective behind their podcast, Feeding 10 Billion. That's not all you're going to see of Ramya this week. Ramya is also on the Paperback Podcast with Racheta and Satyajit. She discusses her book Rebuild and points out how brands have tackled situation of crisis. Guys, we have some really exciting news this week too. Our show, Advertising is Dead, has reached 50 episodes. This special occasion was marked with a live recording at the Glitch office. We had some really, really great guests for this episode as well. Rohan Joshi, the comedian, was there, as was actor, social media influencer, and co-host of Agla Station Adulthood, Ritasha Rathore. The episode drops on Tuesday, November 5th. Make sure you check it out. On our Kannada podcast, Thale Harate, Pawan and Surya sit down to talk about how Karnataka must think about its future so that the state can deliver prosperity and well-being to all its residents. On Simplified, the gang is back for part 4 of the 150th episode. That's a long 150th episode they got going there. Join Chuck and Naren as they break down the dying question of why is Sion called Shiv, the Easter Islands, Instagram influencer ecosystems, and a whole lot more. On Mr. and Mrs. Binge Watch, Janice and Anirudh continue their teen drama series, and this time they're talking about The Politician and Dear White People. Is John McClane the essential everyman, or is he a goddamn all-American hero? On the Geek Fruit podcast, Tejas is joined by friend and roommate Abhimanyu as they discuss the Die Hard franchise. And with that, let's get you on with your show.
All right, we are back. So we are talking about our many firsts. What do we talk about next? How about a fictional character that you identified with for the first time, like a queer fictional character,
TV, movie, anything.
Okay,
6 Feet Under. David.
Not enough people talk about that
because
show.
I felt like we did first gay movie and stuff, and I thought we'd veer to first gay TV show. And obviously, I know even without asking you, your first, it would be Queer as Folk for everyone. But I felt the first time I really
understood the gay life or like what it's like or what it comes with. I felt like that with 6 Feet Under.
That's beautiful. Why don't you tell us about the character?
Oh my God, don't get me to talk about 6 Feet Under because that will be an entire episode.
No, but in a nutshell, because not too many people know about this character.
His mom was neurotic. Let's start there. His mom was neurotic. He's a very closeted person because he's also a pastor who wants to become a dean. So he's very closeted, and again, that wasn't my choice of living. I was never closeted in that sense or anything. But there was just something about how he was constantly like how men made him feel, and his on and off with his boyfriend back then, Keith. God, it was just done so beautiful. I'll never forget this one scene. Yeah, I never found him hot. I never found him. No, I never found him hot.
God.
But I totally get why everyone else finds him hot. But I never found him hot. But I will never forget this one moment where they get into a fight, and Keith and David, and they suddenly start hitting each other. And this is like two men in a relationship. They get into a fight, and like it just turned into like fucking crazy sex after they beat each other up. And I just felt like, what the fuck is this gay life? Like, yeah. So that's my first totally relatable gay character ever. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you?
So you will really, really not like my answer, but strangely enough, the first time so there were a lot of times I felt like, yeah, there's a little bit of me there, but I didn't want to identify with it because like it wasn't cool enough. The first time I actually open-heartedly accepted a character was Will Truman. From Will and Grace. And I'll tell you why.
We roughly talked about Will and Grace before.
Yeah. It was so important for me to see a gay man as a lead who was successful, was wry, was, angry sometimes, was funny, was all the things I wanted to be. And had a life and had a successful life minus a tragedy, which I had only been exposed to, the Philadelphias of the world, the AIDS crisis, which are all very important for us to know about for, the history that our community is faced. But yeah, that was the first time I felt like there can be a happy ending. And I still love that character. I still love following that character.
It was such a breakthrough show. Because I know a lot of people who would say Will Truman. Yeah. A lot of people would say Will Truman to that question at least.
Yeah. And I will. So the reason I'm not saying Queer as Folk is because I'd never identified with it.
Yeah, and Queer as
Folk
it was
a fantasy. It was a fantasy.
It was. So Queer and Folk was like our little jerk-off session.
Yes.
Like,
so just for people who haven't heard of this show, basically it was Sex and the City way before Sex and the City was born. It was a bunch of gay men and lesbian women in Pittsburgh just living the life and having sex, basically. Yeah. So that was like...
I remember watching Queer as Folk. It was just for jerk-off purposes. I never like related to anyone or felt like, oh my God, it was just it would just turn into sex, and then there were these really slow motion, like sudden like lights change kind of gay sex all the time. So it was that. Even though it had so many real moments, I just felt like,
Speaking of like, gay sex and hookups.
Yeah.
What was your first hookup from a hookup app?
I have no memories, Sunetro. I have just at this
like
point,
a phone hookup app. Like let's go there. Like let's forget like
I don't know what to say. I don't know. I felt like you would ask me this question, and it's a blur. I think, and I know
the first that you can remember at least.
I can't. It is a blur. I've just hooked up with so many people at this point. If I had to like even what bracket am I thinking in? Okay, Planet Romeo, Grind. No, I don't have an answer for you. I'm so sorry. I hooked up online, but I have no idea what to answer. Who was the first? What was it like? I have no memory.
And what was the app though? Like, was it Grindr? What was it?
I think it could have been Planet Romeo. It could have been Planet Romeo. But who it was, I have no memory.
The only memory I have is that annoying sound Planet Romeo used to make every time you get dun 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 dun.
Yeah.
That sounds like Addams Family. Sorry, but it was like a weird ring.
And it had a pummel to it. Like better sleep with this person now.
My God. Yeah. What about you? You remember?
I do. Wow. So that was. So I remember getting onto Grindr, and so Grindr for people is the daddy of Tinder. So anyone who didn't know that, that's where it all started. Just saying, we gay men always pave the path first, and then
I'm pretty sure if whoever's listening to this, if they don't know what Grindr is, then just don't listen. Don't listen to the show. It's not for you at all.
So I remember getting onto Grindr, and then it was just overwhelming.
Obviously.
So I deleted it, and then I went on to Scruff.
Of course.
And on Scruff,
Daddy, for people who don't know Scruff, Scruff is the daddy of Grindr. Yeah, it's just like, it's the little forest range of gay men, because they're all daddies and bears and cubs and like... Yeah, it's a type. So, a type of man lives on
And you guys
Scruff.
should Google all of that with the word gay next to it, so then you'll know what...
search on.
Yes, with safe search on. Because we have subcultures called otters, called bears. So please, it's like a rabbit hole you would like to go down.
Someone once called me a manatee, and I'm still reeling from that.
Yeah. What?
Yeah, actually I took it... I liked it. I know manatees are cute. What are they? They are like sea lions. They are like narwhals. No, it's not. They are like a mix of all.
But they're useless.
They're the sloths of underwater world. And I kind of relate to it. I found it cute, but I was like, okay, there are otters, there are bears. I'm a manatee.
Can't get
over the humanity.
I can't get over this. Oh my God. So it was via Scruff, and I met someone who happens to be a sort of kind of acquaintance still. But it was an interesting... I never knew... I was very fascinated by the fact that I could see someone 13 meters away from me, which was like my neighbor.
Yeah, that's the thrill. When you're new to these apps, the first thrill is knowing, oh my God. There are people who do what I do 8 meters away, 10 meters away, 15 meters away.
So there was this gentleman who was shopping near my house and came over to my house, and that was my first
God.
Yeah.
Shopping.
Yes. And I had literally just moved to Bombay. So it was like a month-long sojourn, and it was interesting, because that was like my first interaction with the gay community when I had finally moved to Bombay. So it was fun.
Yeah, I am now at that point where I either want to ask you, we'll do two more firsts. Yeah?
Yes.
One is extremely like stupid and raunchy unnecessarily, and one is a little culture. We should add a little culture to our show.
Hey.
So let's start with the culture one. Okay. First gay artist, or like something like that you really...
Okay, so I'll have to. So I have this friend called Niladri, who's like a professor in Calcutta, and he's like been my window to the world of a lot of queer art. One day we were just generally chatting about cinema and and one of my favorite directors is this guy called Derek Jarman. And so we were riffing about Derek Jarman. He was one of the one of those British guys who really gave it back to Thatcher by just making really gay shit. So while we were talking about that, and he started talking about this duo of artists called Pierre et Gail. They're a French duo, and they photograph men with such immaculate romanticism that no one had touched that before. So that was the first time I saw a sense of delicate beauty in the way men are treated, and I could not. I still love that work. And so Pierre et Gail, and you guys should really check it out, because if anyone wants to explore art where masculinity is portrayed in different ways, that's beautiful. What about you? Was it self-discovery or did someone introduce you?
No, I'll tell you how I got introduced. Leonardo DiCaprio has something to do with it. There was a movie called Total Eclipse, if you remember.
Yes. Theo Van Gogh.
No, it was Arthur Rimbaud.
Arthur Rimbaud.
It was a movie about the poet Arthur Rimbaud. And
there was Theo Van Gogh.
No. I don't remember Van Gogh being a part of that movie at all. But I remember it was about Arthur Rimbaud, a poet who was married, was addicted to drugs, and then he falls for a 14-year-old. And in the movie was 14-year-old Leonardo, my childhood crush.
David Thewlis was Arthur Rimbaud in the film.
I don't know his actual name, but I just know he was ugly as fuck. Like, he was really fucking... I was like, wow, he got Leonardo DiCaprio. Because that movie had a little sex in it. There was a lot of it. Like, and I was
for that time.
So then I looked up Arthur Rimbaud and I looked up his poetry back then, and I was like, okay, wow, drugs, gay, straight, with a wife, with a baby, but like totally fucking with boys. So that was my first diss, but I must also include a painter who's not gay, whose art has nothing to do with gayness, but he helped me realize that I might be, I don't know, it sort of unlocked some side of me that made me feel gay. His name is Wayne Thiebaud. He's a French artist who just makes cakes and pastries, paintings of cakes and pastries and apple pies. Just check out his art. There's something about it that totally fucking unlocked the Martha Stewart in me. I don't know what it was. I just remember looking at his paintings for hours sometimes, and I would just feel so gay when I would see it's just a slice of pineapple cake, the painting, but I'm just feeling all these amazing gay things just looking at this slice of pineapple cake. So I'd have to say, that was I also feel stupid. I started this with gay art. I should have said queer art.
Queer art, yeah.
But you know, I'm talking from a time when everything was gay art. You are a gay.
You are a gay.
You are a gay art. You are gay. So queer art. Okay, but now should we run off with something totally scandalous?
Yes.
First butt sex. First anal sex experience.
Oh my god.
Yeah, because I'm sure that's a big one, right?
Yes,
for a lot
it
of gay guys,
Okay, so I never had anal sex in my first relationship.
I must specify, receiving.
Yes, exactly. I never had anal sex in, like I never received in my... So we tried a lot of shit with my first relationship and like, so I never knew what that pain was.
Okay.
By the time I got to my other relationship that that I spoke about, the 15-year-old, like the man 15-year older than me. I was like, obviously there's only one way that this relationship can go, where like I have to receive. I was wrong.
Okay.
Clearly.
I've been wrong about that till date. I still feel every year I'm wrong about what my fucking preference is.
But it started out with, I stayed over at his place and like I was like, get ready, champ. Ready yourself for it. And in my head, I had watched enough porn to ready myself for it.
Okay.
I hadn't.
Oh
my god.
I got it.
So it was painful as fuck.
Yeah.
But then it got better.
It does always get better. That's the thing. One of the reasons I'm asking this question, I don't want to seem sensational, but it's such a big deal, right? The first time you get fucked is such a big fucking deal. Like, because you're terrified, you're petrified.
And like you don't know how you will. And so if you've had sex with a man and you've not received, this is like a second losing of your virginity. Like, so I've literally lost my virginity like thrice. Once with a woman, once with a guy, and then like receiving. So it's like...
Oh, mine was a... potato masher, a dandiya stick, and then a boy.
That's okay then. American Pie, India version.
Sorry. I'm so sorry. But I had to. Yeah. I remember. So that's the funny thing about me. I've been an alpha top. I like to all my life. But when I was like young, I just wanted to jam shit up my ass all the time. And that time you don't think, when you're in control, it doesn't hurt. When you're in control, it doesn't hurt. But as I grew, I also remember, I think love had a big part to do with it. The day I fell in love, and I was in love.
You opened up.
I opened up, literally. I literally opened up. And also, like again, if I brought this up and people are listening and they want like, there's a lot of nice ways to have a first experience, which is now, if I do the whole enema, the whole douching, and all of that, and now it's amazing. It's probably the best thing.
I still don't love it.
Same, yeah.
But if I have to, I'll find it.
As in, I've come to a point where I've realized that there is nothing really, for me, nothing gets more pleasurable than that.
It absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, that's the closest we can get to a
I also don't want to sound
orgasm.
like anything, but there's also nothing more manlier than that. I've never found anything manlier on this planet. Fuck lumberjacks, firefighters, everything. But a man fucking another man, what is manlier than that?
Yeah. No, and I think that's the closest that we can ever come to a woman's orgasm. Like,
That's so true.
that transcendental moment.
I'm looking up while you're saying this. I'm like, I totally know what you mean.
Like, I've, out of all my sexual experiences, 99% have been me penetrating someone.
Okay.
But like that 1%, beyond that pain is just like, beautiful.
Yeah, I totally get it.
Yeah.
It's eye-rolling lovely.
And it's great that
Look
we can
at
talk
us.
about all of
It's
that
just
now.
Tittering about it now.
Yeah, I
We're
know, like these
tittering,
two little like,
birds.
oh my God. Yeah, and it's great that we can talk about all of this now without breaking a law. Did you get a kick out of it, like whenever you would have sex? Like I guess I'm too much of a kid.
When it was illegal.
Yes, like every time I would have sex, I would tell myself, I'm breaking law.
No.
I'm doing illegal shit.
No, I was busy feeling all the feelings that come with getting fucked. But yeah, okay.
But yeah, that was mine. And
so I guess we've reached the bottom of this episode. Sorry for that.
We've had a lot of fun this time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, this has been interesting because I think I got to know you much better today.
Yeah, no. I also, I hope I'm not like totally throw you off with that, because sometimes I feel like I am like this. I talk about this shit, but like I totally I don't want to throw you in the deep end with the whole anal sex and stuff.
Of course. I mean, hey, we're here for a reason. We're here to talk.
Great.
So yeah, this has been great, and
of many firsts.
Yeah. And so if you like this podcast, don't forget to check out other interesting podcasts on the IVM network. You can listen to us on the IVM Podcasts app or ivmpodcast.com. You can also follow us on our social media. We are IVM Podcasts on Twitter and Instagram. And if you want to reach out to me, I'm Glitterbugged on Instagram and
just Farhad Karkar, yeah.
All right, only Farhad.
Just Farhad. Yeah. Just Jack.
Just Jack. All right then. So if you want, just send us a message.
Yeah,
DM
that's
us.
the thing. I want to tell everyone, hey, send us your first. What's your first fucking butt sex? Like your first fucking movie character.
First date,
but I
whatever.
feel like they don't do that, so do it. Do it, man. Guys, we do this for you. Listen. Yeah, just do it. Send us your first about anything.
We'd like to know.
Yeah.
And yeah.
All right. Bye.
All right.
Hi, my name is Anupam Gupta. I'm B50 on Twitter. I am the host of Paisa Vaisa, the show that talks money. On my show, I speak to experts from every field of money and finance, from stock markets, equities, debt funds, credit cards, life insurance, every possible area of money and finance that you can think of. We even did an episode on cryptocurrency. I've got fantastic guests from mutual funds to personal finance experts everywhere. Robo-advisory, startups, just name it, we've got it. At Paisa Vaisa, we help you make smart decisions about money. You work hard for money. Now make your money work hard for you. New episodes out every Monday, and you can listen to my show on the IVM Podcast app or any other podcasting app that you have.
Are you constantly seeking happiness? Wondering how to make the most of every day? How not to let your inhibitions stop you from achieving your goals? It's now time to get your A game on. It's time to unlock your true potential. Tune in to the Empowering series with me, Zarina Poonawalla, to feel empowered in all genres of life. From behavioral skills to management skills. From health to relationships. From mental well-being to emotional well-being. And of course, your finances. I've got you covered. With these tips and tricks from me, Zarina, and true life stories from my amazing guests, you're bound to bring your purist to the table. Tune in to the Empowering Series with Zarina Poonawalla every Thursday on the IVM Podcast app, website, or wherever you listen to podcasts.